All right, we are back. Merry Christmas, happy Boxing Day, happy New Year's, happy holidays to everyone. We have the amazing Mr. Mike Forrest, Alien Carvings, OOPARTS out of Mexico like no other. How are you tonight, my friend?
Doing really good. Yeah, happy holidays. And man,
Glad to have you back.
it's been a
And
year.
right, how's it ever? Like, how many books did you get done this year?
Just one.
Just, well, hey, more than me, so I like it.
No, it was a good one though. It kept me really busy for sure. And we've gotten really great feedback on it. It's deep dives into all the digs and that big sarcophagus that came out of there and all the macro shots of all those tablets and stuff. So it's cool to get to see that. The guys down there are so proud now to see their work turn into that book.
Right? Exactly. You've immortalized it. You've put it into something that people can actually just access on their coffee tables and in a library, and it's
Yeah.
amazing. And 2026 is going to be the year you and me go down there together and document the digs ourselves and actually get in there.
Yeah. Well, not actually get in there. I have no interest in putting my hands into Mexican soil, to be honest with you. Like
Okay, well,
that
I will
that's
do it and I'll
that's
bring
their
you through
sacred.
the camera, right?
No,
We'll
no,
live
man.
stream.
We'll let the landowners and the locals that own that land disturb that ground, because for me, like, desecrating that ground is not what I'm here to do. I'm here to research and document, and me doing that completely defeats my own purpose here. Like, I'm not trying to spread awareness because I want people to grave rob. Does that make
Fair,
sense? Like,
fair.
I'm
Oh,
trying to
yes,
prevent this,
absolutely. So,
but
like
at the
my own
same point, like,
intention, right? Like my own intention, it's like I don't want to go down there to dig myself. I just want to go down to like see everything that's been dug up, to go see the pyramids that
yes.
are next to them, to like explore the
Yes,
land and do tribute to it, right? That's what
that
I'm
I'm all
wanting,
about. Yes. Yep.
right?
And send
Exactly.
praise to those people for showing us what they have, because that they deserve it. They, like, I want to buy them a feast and like really just give them hugs and say thank you for showing me a side of faith that I didn't even know existed.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. That's what I'm about. Since just like Mexico is such a beautiful ancient place with so much of the culture, and then now that what they're actually finding there beneath it all, like the actual roots of it now being dug up, and that it's a worldwide culture from a seeding race or seeding beings of some sort, right? That's
It's the Ajiji, I'm almost positive, because like I've seen some Ajiji depictions and things of this nature. You look at what Enkidu looks like, and like we find all this stuff with the Anunnaki symbols and logos, and I mean, whatever. They're quite a branded industry in this type of situation, which I think really makes a lot of sense, because when you read the Atra Hasis and the Enuma Elish and you read their creation stories and what they believed, and then see the pictures that are on these pieces, it's clear as day it's not some alien UFO race. It's what they were talking about in the past. It's the Zep Tepi, gods walking with men era that is documented for multiple cultures around the world.
right. And what was has always been said the most ancient, right? Like the pre-dynastic Egyptian, the Sumerian, Mesopotamian, right? And
Yeah. So
it's
much came from
everywhere.
the Sumerians. So much came from them. I mean, we have to really think about how much came from them. The wheel, writing. I mean, they brought it hard. And for us to think that they just all of a sudden came across that by accident, no, clearly they had roots deeper than what we understood, or they were given it by aliens. I mean, there was no way they just came up with this stuff
Or
so sporadically.
survivors, right? Survivors of the
Very
cataclysm,
likely.
whatever the
Yeah.
pre civilization was, and that in those times, right, we're now taught there's the Younger Dryas catastrophe, pre Ice Age, but there was the megafauna at that time, and like, oh, giant reptiles, there was giant insects, there was giant
Yes.
mammals, there was giant bears and sloths and wolves and
Anteaters and yeah,
and right,
sloth. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there was also giant humans in those days, and all of the Abrahamic religions and even the Eastern Asian religions all depict and say the same.
Yeah, and Mesoamerican too. There's lots in the
Correct.
choppiest region. It's clear as day that that stuff is real. I mean, they they know it's there. That's where it really. I think a lot of this. The Egyptians talk about it with Chem and the whole. Their creators came from somewhere else. It wasn't always Egypt.
Exactly, and it was a worldwide, global, or realm-wide, whatever, whichever way you interpret this existence, but that's they're digging it up more and more, and where the government can't hide it now, and like whether it's in Utah or New Mexico or Colorado, Nevada, and the mounds that are throughout all of North America, they're pyramids that also appear to have these giants and like golden tablets, proto-Sumerian on it, like
There's traces and glimpses of this all over the place. Like even Hawaii, the tiki culture, the three fingers. Like there's a lot of things that go hand in hand with what's being found. And you said something pretty valuable. I think that the government's trying to hide it. I don't know if that's the case because I don't think we would still be doing this. But it's kind of
so
like the Epstein. It's
Mexican
kind of like
not.
the Epstein files.
Right.
Like
So the
let's just
Mexican
not.
government, they're not, right? They don't seem to be. But when I spoke of like the government hiding it in the US, it's like a Smithsonian slash like some group within the FBI. Like I'm speaking from
There, there,
those that were I met at in Utah at the Moon Lake Gathering Treasure Hunters event this past summer there in August. Shout out Terry Carter channel, and that so many of them were telling their stories of how they were trying to legally do these digs on their own properties, and that they would notify the FBI, and then magically there was 3 cases now documented that the night before they were supposed to dig, the FBI came and dug up whatever was there and said took whatever was there and claimed that they found nothing at all and
um,
covered it up. So thank God for the
and
more
how long
honest
ago was that?
authorities. It was over through 2023 to 2025, the 3 different
Wow.
cases.
Wow.
Uh,
Interesting. Maybe
and
they are. I don't know. I mean, as much of a as much as what I believe to be conspiracy, that's something that it's just hard for me to fathom that this goes on at this level now without them trying to. It's just like Lou Elizondo and all these whistleblowers and people
that's no
coming up.
whistleblower. That's a
They're
scoop.
not being taken out or anything. Like they're being paraded around
So
like
I
celebrities.
have to interject with Lou Elizondo specifically,
Okay.
AKA he retired from the Pentagon. What was his role at the Pentagon? Oh, he was the head of counterintelligence. Counterintelligence head. And
No.
also,
It's a tough
he's
one,
the
huh?
one guy, his last act as head of counterintelligence of the Pentagon was to declassify and whistleblow the Tic Tac videos, aka the Nimitz encounters. Thus,
Right.
what was that? Was that actual, most likely there's a narrative control operation going on, and was it to bring
Oh yeah.
forward a Project Bluebeam style of, oh, this is the alien technology, but no, really, it's a DARPA technology that they were testing out on the Navy and claiming, oh, this is alien, and trying to subvert what the real extraterrestrial technology and intention is, and replace it with something that is our own
Yeah.
potentially.
And here's the way we know that there's a really high probability that that's true and not just crazy thinking is there's Freedom of Information Act documents that state that the CIA used agents on their dime to go into alien events and disclosure events and purposely provide false information to the public and stuff like that. So if they were capable of that, then it's just like the Edward Snowden thing. There's not been any changes that we have gone through. That
Right? Like, how come Lou's not hiding out in China or Russia, like been, subject to
it's a
Siberia to
controlled
stay alive?
disclosure.
Right? Like,
It's very
exactly.
controlled all the way through. That's why it's a $1 billion industry. It's not because people like you and I are raking in on disclosure. It's because they're throwing a lot of money to control the narrative with people putting fake comments on people's posts and all of this control that's being done. I mean, it's clear as day that the paid actors that work for these shows that'll purposely tell you lies just because they're a celebrity and they can, and no one's going to discredit them for the most part. I mean, at least the media is not going
Or
to
you
show
get
it that way.
spanned, shadow banned, you get discredited
Yeah.
yourself just for asking questions on their cases. Like, how come Lou Elizondo, since his original videos of the Tic Tacs as his final act of the counterintelligence head of the Pentagon, how come now, as a disclosure guy, all three videos he's brought forward were fake? It was like, oh, here we have this giant, like, mile-sized disc UFO. No, wait, that's just two actual circles of crops, not made crop circles, but actual planted crops in a circular where the sprinkler just goes in a circle
See,
next to each other. That's a what do you call it? Visual um, or optical illusion, right? It's like it was no freaking discraft, and he brings that out as evidence. It's like, what? No, that's not real disclosure.
my probably the most credible video is this Hellcat missile hitting this sphere, and it
Yeah,
like
the plasma. And right, exactly, the most recent one that they released, and that it's another one of these orbs, and that it.
yeah,
So why the missile didn't explode is that it was the ninja style one that's a blade, right? So it just cuts through. It's a kinetic impact type of missile, not a combusting
right,
head missile, but it cuts the plasma and it separates it into like a couple different blobs, and it acts just like oil on water, how it keeps moving together and stays, and it shows
yeah,
what sort of technology it actually is.
kind of.
Right, kind of, yeah.
No, it's really complex. I mean, it really is the way it moves and what it actually is and what it could be. The way I thought about it is okay, so United States military is firing missiles at unknown objects now. Are
Right,
we at
right,
war with aliens?
exactly. Like, that's a
Are they our
declaration
enemy?
of war, right?
I mean,
Exactly.
I get that like sometimes they've been over the top of bases and stuff like that, but I believe this was over in Qatar, which is bizarre.
It was by Yemen. It was in
Yemen, that's right.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
right.
off of the Gulf of Aden, I think that, yeah.
Yeah, kind of weird of a place to have that happen. I mean, I don't know.
Right, and very,
Maybe the ones
very
over our
suspect.
bases would have been good to test that on if we were going to test it to see, like, hey, get off of our property type of situation. But I don't know. I mean, this is over on holy land practically, right?
And ones that are in opposition to, they were at, I think, a state of active war at that point, like the Houthis and the other entity in the Middle East there, right? Where it's like
Right.
it's an active war zone ish. And then why would our weapons be going against these UFOs?
That was the big question for me to have, like, whoa. And then with people like Representative Luna coming out and saying, that this has Book of Enoch written all over it, and that these things are, or NHI is just a clever word for angel or demon. That rung a bell for me because of all the clear angel and demon depictions on these pieces.
Absolutely.
That
I've come to the same conclusion, right? Because Also because it's space-time. You're breaking down space-time. It's interdimensional. Thus, what else are interdimensional beings
Who
but right?
who was the
Ancient.
god of time, right? Saturn. And I think that's I'm trying to find a depiction of Saturn here. It's like all over these pieces though. Of course, I can't find one when I'm looking.
All right,
Uh,
always went live in the moment. So it's like
but
I've seen
here
at
I'll
least
show.
20.
I'll flip my camera and show you this thing though. This big cube came, and I mean, the black cubes and the Saturn references is just
Again, black
absolutely
cubes. Right.
ridiculous. And this thing doesn't actually go inside of here like that. This sits on top of here like a
Wow.
true tesseract would or whatever, you know.
Right.
No, I don't really trust it too much, so I don't leave it in there because
Fair.
I'm sure
You
they
don't
made
want
it to
to,
where just one of these corners is like the right corner, which I think
I
is
would
this one.
imagine so.
I know, right? There we
Because
go.
it's
I
not
think this is
precise.
it
And
here.
then there are thousands, potentially tens of thousands of years and erosion and the rest. And like still. And it's the
Yeah.
fact you've gotten like so many of these tested, so many different pieces of the materials, and they
Yep.
all are coming
This is a
back.
prime example. This is a canopic jar. We've had tested it 19,000 years old. The remains inside of it. I was on the Limitless podcast with Matt Bale, and I actually let him smell inside of there because it reeks. I
Ugh.
mean, it's oops, switching back here. Yeah, it's not good.
It
It's
smells
crazy.
like ancient death every time you open it, pretty much, right? Like, and
Yeah, 100%. There was nothing
testing.
in there other than just the powdered, charred stuff. But I mean, there was enough to get, and it like hardened into almost a rock. Crazy.
What you would expect with that sort of aging, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, this is the carbon dates at 20,000 years. I mean, we don't really have anything to go off of that's 20,000 years old like that, you know?
Right? Like it's just every time it blows my mind, but you're doing the real science, you're doing the real tests on it, and it just keeps coming back
It,
every
it,
time.
it's not even me anymore, man. Like there's a full anthropology PhD team out of Italy called the Aslan Stones Project. There's all kinds of really high-end scientists in this team. They've done over 100 carbon dates. Like they have tests coming out their ears on these things. They came out on Mexican national television here 2 weeks ago with Jaime Maussan, the guy that owns the Boogosphere, and actually declared that there's a connection between the Boogosphere and these pieces and an ancient civilization. And if we look at the age of the Boogosphere being, I think it was 13,000 years old, roughly. That's definitely in the window of when we see for these pieces. We see 10 to 45,000 years so far as a window. And the 45,000 year dates come from two different substrates. So it's hard to believe. We thought the tests were inaccurate. We did another 15 tests on the geopolymer after that and came back with very consistent dates. So it didn't seem like a pollution thing or a non-credible, miscalculation from dead carbon, because that would be probably more all over the board. But still, it's not for sure testing. We've tested resin and stuff like that from these metal books that hold the rings together. They use like a hot resin and
You're
consistent
literally
dates with the
testing
polymer.
everything you can, right? Like it's like you're taking
Yeah, well,
samples
this
nonstop.
orange stone you can see here is it's actually not a stone. These things, see how this is more, oops, my tracking's taking it away, but this is more of a darker orange than this. Well, the reason these surfaces are orange and the reason that there's all these bubbles on the surface, but if you were to cut this in half, they don't exist on the inside. And
Geopolymer, it had to be a pore then.
it's, yes, very likely a pore. And you can hear, I don't know, maybe, but That sound, I mean, that sounds like metal if you could hear it.
Well,
Um,
we couldn't. Darn it.
that's bizarre for a stone to sound so much like that. And there's chromium and aluminum and all kinds of different things. The same ingredients that you would find inside a stainless steel are inside of this. So they were literally like fusing metal into concrete and forming this stone out of it, and sculpting these pieces rather than carving them.
Right? And so it's like it seems more that there's potential actual purpose and function potentially in some of these artifacts with that as well. Because that's very advanced and you just you wouldn't randomly do like someone forging or someone or also just less advanced in that time frame. If they were just hunter gatherers, like why would they be doing this? How would they be doing this? Like they're
Coming from that, especially, yeah.
right, like it just makes zero
and,
sense
and
whatsoever.
and we know that the United States government and the European governments all agreed that they burned the witches at the stake not that long ago, in fairly modern times. So um, they absolutely acknowledge more than what they, and that's what I was trying to get to earlier. Is it's not that they try to necessarily suppress it; they just ignore it altogether, like it doesn't even exist.
Right? Like, because if they address it and then investigate it and look into the actual tests or have to do tests
Right.
themselves, then it gets a little awkward.
I
Because,
was just
well,
reading these comments here. Yeah, the Saturn thing is definitely the the magnetic field on the top of it is in the shape of a hexagon, and when you flatten a black cube, it turns into a hexagon. You know, it's the right amount of size or whatever. And so this shape is also what's inside the Star of David, which the Star of David actually was the Star of Remfram, or the talisman of Saturn. And so that was also the symbol that's on um, Solomon's ring. So this
indeed.
symbol has a hex in the middle of it. So when these witches say they're going to put a hex on you, there's a direct relation to this geometry and Saturn somewhere in there. And the rings, people kissing the rings, people putting the rings on and doing oaths, all things of the opposition.
Sorry, I'm just double checking, making sure we're still live on Rumble because it's giving me a warning saying they discontinued, which would be weird if it got cut on Rumble
Oh,
over Facebook or YouTube, but we are good on the rest.
yeah. The Merkaba thing is, we actually find these here. I'll flip the camera and show you this real quick. Oops. I do this every time. There we go. Not used to this gimbal. It's cool. But definitely Merkaba. I mean, these things are all, like Bernie said, maybe functional. And this has like a sacred geometry carved into the bottom of it. And I had a lingual expert, Laird Scranton, look at this piece, and he suggested that these symbols mean energy, which would make sense if this thing was spinning around. Um, that would definitely be a good way of describing it, kind of like we do or an artist would do, with dust or something. You really see and what's interesting too with these horns is like Anki had four horns. The Anunnaki all had horns, and then you look into Egypt with the headpieces that they had, the bull horns, the Vikings, the barbarians. There's definitely a potential connection with this old world belief system. Her hat is, oops, broken off, but The gimbal didn't like that. I don't know what happened to Bernie, but he probably went and reset his machine or something like that. I guess I'll just keep sharing some pieces with you guys, and he'll be back. He'll be back. No, it's interesting. I just have been working on a new project the last couple weeks, and we're taking and scanning all these pieces into 3D. And then I also bought a 3D camera. So we'll be streaming in 3D in the near future also, which I'm really looking forward to. We got a really good 8K um, VR camera that's going to do 180 immersive. And then I also got a stereoscopic 360 degree as well for doing some 360 stuff at the dig sites and different um, places in Mexico and other sites around the world that connect to this. There's places in Utah and things. I'm going to take my family and travel to some of these places and capture this in 3D because there's not a lot of 3D content out there right now that's VR immersive. It's a pretty healthy tax on the computer, and it's something that I haven't. Oh, okay. Bernie just said he'll be right back. I got a message. But yeah, it's like 1 gigabyte per second speed, so it's a healthy endeavor to try to mess with this stuff. But man, it's so once you put on one of these headsets and like an Apple Vision and see it, it's absolutely something else. I'm really really excited. It's also something too. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're just posting AI stuff," and they don't believe it. So having this stuff documented in 3D will be really valuable also for the legitimacy of the digs and kind of what we're dealing with. Do they emit frequency? Yeah, actually, I think I've got my tri-field meter right here. Check this out. So, some of them's actually technology. Like this has probably, we have to get these tested still to see what kind of metal they are. But you can see the light here. So somehow, I've got X-rays of one of these machines on our website. You can see also in a video. These things put out really low voltage, 0.24, 0.21, which really isn't enough to do much with a light bulb. So seeing this thing come on, there's still a lot of question. As Bernie was saying earlier, this material, it's pretty special for more than just a decorative purpose. And they absolutely emit energy. You can see there. Oops, sorry, I'm so horrible with the gimbal. Forgive me. But it's also radio frequency too. You'll see it spike. Hopefully you guys can see it. There we go. So there's definitely something going on. This piece here doesn't have any electrical anything. So the fact that it does also like that's where the material comes into play. And it absolutely could be an electroconductive material. And when you look at the X-rays, there's like a device. It almost looks like a Dendara light, if you're familiar with that, inside of there. All of these almost have this water or vessel area. We don't know if it's to purify water or something like that. But this works as the insulator, and the type of filament that's in here. Absolutely bizarre. The way they got it in there and the way they ran the wires and the stuff through there clearly proves it's a geopolymer also. because you wouldn't be able to drill that today in that sort of fashion. And I'm trying to read this chat, so forgive me. It just shows it to me in the very small corner, and I apologize, guys, because I can't really read it very well. So if I miss your questions, please definitely forgive me. Um, we have like a snowstorm outside, and I'm on 5G on my phone, so I'm really just impressed that I'm able to do this right now. We almost canceled it and rescheduled, but I'm glad we're doing it. So now Bernie's the one having problems. Go figure. That's all right. And fun to show you guys some of these. It'll make for some good shorts too. I found people like the shorts. This is actually a whistle here, and oh, I could share with you guys the luminescence. So something that likely shows evidence that there's, you know, um, I don't want to say Luciferian. That's kind of where luminescence got its name from. But there's a luminescence on these pieces, and the Anunnaki were known as the Shining Ones, and so it's possible that their shine may have actually had ultraviolet light. So when they came around these pieces, these stone idols to worship the gods, could actually be decorated for that purpose. The way the glow, it's a strontium based glow, so it's not radioactive or anything like that. Um, what's odd though is it's on the surface of the geopolymer all over the place. It's actually in the geopolymer. I mean, mixed in. I can show an example here of that. And so this piece here, and it actually turns. You can see the blue, and there's a lot of different variations. We've actually found the stone that it looks like that they crushed up to make this stuff, but how they inlaid it on there and got it to stick. Well, that's really the great mystery. I mean, it's not a mystery. I shouldn't say it that way, but it was because if these things are in the ground and they're getting wet and washed, like how that would stay on there on crystal stuff like quartz. These two pyramids right here are quartz, and how they got that on there. When the light's on, you can't even tell. And so they fused this onto the stone somehow. I don't know if it's with an alchemical process or some sort of chemical type thing that occurs with something that they understood. But the stuff is literally bonded and fused to that. This stuff from Abuelos here, which is another area, you can see it. It has some glow in it as well. Um, yeah, this one glows good. And that could just be because it's also a geopolymer. It seems like maybe there's a byproduct. So not all of the pieces have the green like this piece here, but if you put the black light on there, you'll see that the actual polymer glows as well. And that is just a sign, I think, of some sort of reaction, like covalent bond reaction or whatnot. We see that with stuff that's fired and certain types of pottery. So it could very well be that there's a like a two-part resin. If you were to do that for making some sort of little figurine or something, um, that stuff has UV refractive and well, heck, actually, I think this table right here, I can show you. This table was covered in resin. Yep. So it's very much similar to that. Yeah, Sasquatch shaped skulls. There's Neanderthal type skulls. There's pretty much everything. I'm gonna turn the lights back on here. My hand is getting tired of clicking that thing. But yeah, a lot of different skull shapes, which is interesting. Elongated skulls. Like down here, you can see there's stuff that looks Paracas like. Oops, gyroscope took over. Sorry, guys. see here. There we go. Bernie said 3 minutes. I don't know. It must be snowing up there too. Sounds like it's snowing all over the place. Let's see. Oh, the chessboard. Yeah, there's multiple types of games actually. This one here is I actually just posted it 'cause it's just always makes me grin. But there's like these are the pieces here for this game down here. And it only has this always sorry. I'm horrible with the gimbal, so if it's flipping you guys around, I really apologize. These are some difficult angles to get to without flipping it. I'm used to holding it. But there's also different types of games. Like these are pieces here for another game. The board's over here. I can show you somewhere. Where did I put that board? Hmm, maybe I can't show you. I apologize. But definitely multiple types of games, and like the one there, these little pieces. It doesn't has obelisks that go with it. It's an unknown game. I've never seen it before. There's watches, like a magnetic face, a lot of different types of pendulums. They were pretty obsessed with magnetism, it seems like, because a lot of these pieces have built-in magnetism. Let me see if I can read your comment. Chattanooga, okay.
My apologies. I am back.
Oh my gosh, he's
We
back.
made it. Still alive.
This is
And
the material that makes it glow. I think that they were crushing up. We found a flooring made of this, and the whole thing glowed, just like the pieces. Super green and just
and
strontium based rock, but still.
it's that I've never seen another phosphorescent or UV reacted like modern day technology or method that comes close to what are displayed in these artifacts. So it's like the fact that you're getting all of these unique single pieces with these like compounds containing chromium and stuff like that in it, along with these glowing uh, chemicals or compounds. It's just it's next level, and you think you would see it in modern materials if it was ours.
If it was so easy to do, or so easy to do, for replicas and quick knockoffs, like you would definitely see stuff like that because it's a selling point. What's funny is I got like over 200 pieces for Mexico. Many of them glowed, but we didn't know it for years. I mean, it was like an all of a sudden, like, oh, by the way, the pieces glow. And I mean, the people down there were just in shock and awe. Like, and then from then forward, I mean, every time they post a video, it's always got that in it now.
Right, but it's like it was your friend that discovered that, or someone you're working with, not even the people digging it up. So like
Exactly.
that, it's just there's so many continuous pieces of evidence and discoveries that it's like if it was all just fake and knockoffs, like it wouldn't happen like that. It would be the exact opposite.
I mean, you can't say for sure because there's people that are pretty desperate, pretty crafty, but not in this case. I don't think. I mean, this is a level of craftsmanship and engineering. I mean, there's park benches and tables and things made of this material that would require significant understanding of this. And it's not just some material that we have, because this didn't get fired. It's not like clay. It's more like concrete, um, but clearly superior.
exactly. And like
lasting
you were
10,000
saying,
years.
while I was rebooting the Shining ones, like that gives a purpose, that gives a reason to why it was, and it's also the exact demigods or archetypes that are depicted on the artifacts.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yep. Yeah, there's a temple in Alexandria, Egypt, and you go down in this thing, and it has like Naga looking Anubis and Naga looking trying to remember who the other one was on the other side. I'm might be the lion faced one, Sekhmet maybe or something like that. But I found it to be really interesting. I didn't see it anywhere else in Egypt. And then you go to Sudan, and at the Kushite site there, there's the Lion's Temple, and we find depictions of beings that look very similar to that. We have a lot of lion-faced beings, and then we also have the being with multiple arms that we find on the Lion Temple over there as well. So I think some of these sites outside of Egypt might tell, most of them have been maybe destroyed or not preserved um, as
Right?
well.
And
But
it
yeah,
seems to be the case. Like the conquistadors, anything led by the Jesuits, seem to went in and destroyed and genocided all original traces, and that they documented blowing up, dynamiting a lot of the specific like monuments. And in Egypt, there's always one of the archetypes that their faces
the
destroyed,
nose
right?
and
Like you
stuff.
never see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly, right? It's like, what was that? Was that a trunk potentially, or was
I
that
was gonna say, I think it's the Ganesh trunk
or,
probably or
or
something like
right, the
that.
Ganesh or like the octopus one too, potentially.
Same
One,
difference. Yeah, I really think that's the same difference at this point. Like the descriptions
okay.
and the way it was artistically created, everything got washed for the most part. Like somewhere along the lines, the control, like if you wanted to remain peaceful as a country, you had to kind of abide to certain rules or regulations, maybe. Like that kind of seems to be how they weeded it out, because like you said, the
Like the
conquistadors, the
Korean War and
crusades, Alexander the
Vietnam
Great in
War,
in
they
its
were blowing
entirety.
up right? They're blowing up the jars like out in Laos, right? Like Vietnam War, and the most bombed spot was the Valley of the Jars of these giant granite jars and stuff. Like
I know.
it's everywhere.
It makes me yeah, I don't like thinking about that because it just the opposition's real, but without it we wouldn't gain the wisdom. So I just have to trust the plan and know that everything is happening for a reason. So it's a hard one to accept though.
Right?
Oh
Absolutely. Because
man.
there's so much that's been destroyed. And it's like, this is crimes against humanity. It's our history. And no
Yeah.
matter how awkward the truth is, whatever it is, we have the right to know. And that destroying these artifacts of these people from before, like, that's just, it's criminal. It's beyond criminal. And
Yeah.
it's happened everywhere. But we
To
just have
to
to
answer
dig
that
deeper.
question on the Praveen Mohan, yeah, absolutely. Been in contact with him. I spoke with his. I don't know what she is exactly, but she wrangles that type of stuff, and was absolutely awesome. We talked for quite a while, and I showed her this and the lingam and things that we found that have relation to the Hindu culture, and as far as a collaboration or anything like that, I don't think he has the research or whatnot to make any sort of advancements like that until that comes out. But we did just get a published paper, not myself personally, but I say we as in the people who are looking at researching these pieces. There's a group actually over in Europe, Thomas Harico, that published this with Alberto. I'm gonna try to pronounce his last name, Donini or Doini, and they're both just absolutely stellar, and they're not actually affiliated with the group there out of Italy. So there's a true synergy of information coming, and I think this will be a peer reviewed topic that's going to be really hard to refute.
right? And that's the difference too, is that like scams and frauds, they hide, they block, they questions they refuse to answer. It's like real science, real history, anything real, it has to pass scrutiny, and that you're looking for that, you're trying your hardest to get peer reviews, and that they run from it, they try their hardest to not to be able to have to look at the
A journal
evidence.
published it, bro. Published it right
Well,
away.
that
Published, and a
that's
good journal
that's
too.
heartless.
I mean, it was the first one they submitted to. I couldn't believe it.
Amazing.
I was
Maybe
so
times
proud of
are
him, man.
changing.
I mean, this is I thought it was a dream, like to really see something like that get discussed by scientists is a huge step forward because I'm just a business owner here in Washington asking questions, so I don't really have a say, and my research doesn't really hold any merit other than maybe, um, but it's cool to see people with real credibility jumping in saying the same thing now.
Well, I absolutely love it. I find it uplifting and heartwarming to hear, and that there's a new movement within the people with credit in academia, but it's that they're usually the ones like the old guard, I'd say, have the least amount of credit just because they're so indoctrinated in their ways. They can't look at a from an outside perspective. It doesn't fit in their model, so they can't
Yep.
look at it with reasonable eyes or a mind, right?
Yeah, it's the Giorgio Tsoukalos agenda, like you wrote a
Exactly.
business model and now you have to adhere to it, right?
And it's like that's the exact opposite of truth, and like looking for knowledge and just trying to find out what you have in your hands and where it came from and where we came from.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if there's a disclosure out there, I think this is it. And the fact that we do find lingams in relation to that Hindu culture, that their descriptions of Vimana and spaceships were deep. I mean, it wasn't just a mention. It wasn't just like the book of Ezekiel with descriptions. They had schematics. They had detailed schematics of how these things operated and what went into them, so it's quite interesting to see that, and then to see what we're seeing. um the Mahabharata is really old already, and that's a documented thing that I don't think was the first Mahabharata was probably brought to light at that time. I mean, this is how old the surviving copy is that they have or whatever. So it could be much more ancient than even that, which would be credible to
Agreed.
this timeline.
Agreed. And that's in a lot of the oh my gosh, the East Indian flying vehicles. What were they called? Just on the
The
tip of my tongue.
Vimana,
The Vimana. That it was a Mercury drive, right? It's
right?
documented. They say it's Mercury, and that today, oh, Mercury's this scary, toxic thing that nobody's allowed to have or touch. Be aware. And it's like, well, that's not really the metal. That's the oxidized version. That's extremely toxic, like any oxidized metal. But in all the ancient pyramids around the world and the most ancient cultures, they find these vast amounts of mercury, and
Yeah.
that's also found in Mexico too.
Yep. The fact that they're underneath the pyramids like that, big pools, and we see spaceships landing on top of these flat top pyramids, these platforms, and it's all over on these pieces. So could they have been refueling? It's potential. We see the production of the Bogosphere on some of these pieces, and I don't know if you saw just recently, David Avila Roldan, the lead scientist for the Bogosphere, just released a video of them with a contraption that spins the Bogosphere, and they got it spinning
Really
about 30 RPM, and it lost 5 pounds of weight, documented and recorded. And they can
fascinating.
repeat it. So this whole mercury thing, that's what made me think of this, because it could very well be, we know if you spin mercury around fast enough, it creates a field. Um, I'm not sure, but it's interesting
Yeah, oh
also
yeah.
when you X-ray that sphere or CT scan that sphere, the inner core nucleus is not something that comes up on a standard metal or anything like that. It almost looks like mylar, where there's like a force field in front of it.
Really? So
Yeah,
interesting. It could be almost like a red mercury or something that's in there that's still emitting the field, blocking it.
definitely still something in there. Yeah, I'm glad they didn't drill it. Stephen Greer wanted to drill it, is what I heard, and yeah, I mean, I think that would be really awesome to know what's inside. However, if it really does have something like that in there, this thing could still be active. There could be, it could have the recorded memory and the recorded knowledge of our world, and lead us to possibly understanding a lot. I mean, this could be the awakening and what delivers it. So when you drill into it, it's like a computer. If someone finds a tower, a Dell, sitting on a desk 40,000 years from now, and then they go drill into the side of it, like, the chances of them
Definitely not
impairing the
going to work
memory and
anymore.
stuff.
And you're
Right,
not going to figure out how it worked either, right? Like,
bingo. Yeah. So it's good. I'm glad they're releasing some serious information and research. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you've had it for this long, and this is all you know." Well, no, no, it's being cataloged and prepared to show it, I believe, in a really great fashion, to my understanding. And there's a symposium type event that's going to happen on March 15th that Jaime Mason's been promoting, and so I look forward to that day to probably get some sort of answers on that.
me as well. And so, just to bring back, so I was very skeptical about the Boogosphere. Like you and me, like we got into it a little bit at the beginning, and
I
that
know.
one of what really changed my mind was that I'm bringing up the Moonlake Gathering event in Utah, and one of the guys there, he brought up all on his own, had no idea who I was, and like other than Terry introduced me to him and was like, Bernie does podcasting, is into this stuff. And he's like, oh, the Boogosphere, yeah, we've been digging those up for years. And then he showed me, he got his picture of their warehouse, and there was four of them they already had in their warehouse. And I was like, oh my god, can we please do, like, can I like get a copy of this picture, can we do an episode? He's like, no, the government will come for it. Like he just like shut down instantly and like ran off. And I was
Oh,
like, well, son of a gun. But all right, well, I saw with my own eyes.
I trust that completely. It doesn't shock me in the slightest, but it does. Like, it's cool to hear that type of a confirmation. But it really, after what I've seen on these pieces, I have no doubt there's more than one for sure. And they've documented more, I think, since that crash. So yeah, yeah. As far as the Smithsonian diamond, I definitely been something that's concerned the heck out of me. I used to not show my face or say my name, and at what
Right,
point do
like the
you
first year we were doing interviews, I'd be like, my alien carvings are your reflection in the glass on your table
I
there.
know, right? It's tough. It's tough. I don't know what to think and what to believe. I didn't really think the stuff was real. I came into this as a skeptic. So, I'm buying all these items. I'm trying to throw it in my buddy's face and win this bet. And then now I'm like, okay, I got to make a museum. I got to take care of these things. Like, I don't know what to do. I got to convince the government. I got to convince educators and people who are trying to. I don't even know. And I set out on this quest to try to prove it to these people that there was something that needed to be looked into. And I think we're here. I really do. I think there's really people looking into it now. So I pray that they figure it out. There was a influencer that went down there, Joe Fells. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he has a bunch of videos about ancient Bibles and comparisons and things like that. He goes deep, and so he went down there to verify this with his own eyes, and yeah, I mean, he came back, literally posting, Graham Hancock, contact me now because this is out of control, ridiculous. There was no question in his mind.
And it's like there's no longer a question in my mind, and that like there's just it's so overwhelming, and that's why
Yeah,
I feel 2026 I need to just I want to go down and experience the culture, the people, the place, the energy, the
March.
ancient structures. March. Okay, March it
Yeah,
is.
you got to come to that conference where they're going to have the Boogosphere. You got to see it for yourself.
It's a done deal. March
Yep.
it is.
I'm gonna need a +1 camera guy. So you already know you got that job.
Perfect. There we go. I am the camera guy. There we go.
Yep. It'll be
I
good.
love it.
It'll be
Oh,
good.
it's going to be amazing. Next level.
Yeah.
And so another thing I find interesting, like again with detractors, there was this. What was the guy's name? Rob or some? I for Paul or James. James. His name was James, and James had this rod, right? He supposedly found this like boogosphere-like
Oh, I
metal
know James, and he
rod that
admitted it was
had.
fake. He
Yeah,
came out and
yes, he
admitted it
did,
was fake.
absolutely. And so
Yep.
here's the thing: his very first show he did, his very first video, he just happened to come on to this episode of a friend channel of mine, Traveling Fools, that I was on with Old Man Builds Nathan, and he like brings it up, and I'm like looking at it, I'm like, it's kind of similar, but we're like, this just doesn't make sense. This is
Yeah.
like a fraud, and we called him out the very beginning. We called him out that day. We're like, what is this, a probe from Uranus? Like, and it just like all of a sudden he got all of these views, and like we were getting hate for calling it out as fake. And it's like, no, there's a real difference between what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
And then he
Yep.
ended up, after he came out and declared it being fake, he came back onto our same show and he's like, yeah, props for calling it out for being fake from the beginning. You guys were like the only ones that like scrutinized it. And it's
Yep.
just like,
I
yeah,
know a lot
you
of my
can tell,
followers
right?
were like, why aren't you covering this one? You know, because the whole Kin Panama thing had just finished. And I mean, the Kin Panama thing had me kind of going just because it needed to be looked at to be sure. Because if this was true, like, holy
Absolutely.
cow, you know, I mean,
Right? Like,
he got me good. That guy, I don't like that guy. He got me good. I always I encourage a good joke, but in this case, man, he definitely probably should have got some time or something. That
yeah,
was a lot of
right.
people's
But then
time
again,
wasted.
probably a government planted like psyop,
Yeah,
like to discredit the
probably.
real one.
He's like a celebrity now, so yeah, probably. I wouldn't doubt it. All the stars, you know, that's how they get their wings, I guess.
Exactly. It's exactly it. It's like, oh, how do they just get like that James guy? He got like 40,000 subscribers on YouTube in like a month. And it's like, I've been
Mm.
stuck at 9,800 for 4 years, haven't gained one. And oh, all of a sudden you just magically shoot through the stars. It's by design.
Yeah. There is truth to that. I've posted a lot of videos and I've been suppressed pretty hard on some of these social medias. Like I've got 380,000 followers on TikTok, but I'll be lucky to get like 8 or 900 views on my posts these days. It's wild.
Right? Right?
And then
Like,
all of a sudden one day I'm getting millions. Like, so it's almost as if they're like trying to disclose slowly, and like they kind of open the floodgates here and there, and they don't shut me down. They it feels like they may want this to come forward. The disclosure is this, and it's inevitable. Maybe this is the start of it. I don't know. um but it feels like that. Just because they're not doing anything to stop it, which is a huge red flag on if it was trying to be continue to be covered up. We're way past that at this point, you know.
well, right? It's like at this point, if they did try, it would just give it more credit, right? Because as soon as they
I
address
guess.
it
Yeah.
and try to like attack it, there's just so much evidence that you and everyone else now has done and exposed on it that they're forced to, and their only ability is to just let it try to ignore it, right? Try to just ignore it as much as
Ignore it for
possible.
50 years and then eventually tell the truth. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how we work. We're kind of a wean off type of a class of individuals, you know. Like, it's not something like fast, ultra hard change is not always good for the human. And man, even for
Yeah.
me studying this for 6 years straight, I still feel kind of crazy even thinking that some of this stuff. is real, you know?
I can relate, brother. It's like
Sitting there
it's
talking to my
a
dad today,
hard
like,
truth. It's a hard truth
yeah,
of like I don't
but
want this part to be real, but like the evidence just keeps coming back that it's yeah, like you can't deny what the experience is.
right. That's 100% it. And I think it makes sense to me also, and that's, I guess, the maybe the weight off the shoulders of why I accept it is because it does. When you start reading the ancient texts and you look at all the wars and the oppression and the propaganda and wonder what fuels that and why there's so much corruption in the world within the religions and within our governments, the places that we're supposed to seek safety and sanctity, um, it makes sense.
It
It does.
does, and like my with my own like nuclear electrochemistry and engineering hydrogen plasma types of fusion and all of that, it's like I self censor like intentionally. I've held back so many of my discoveries and processes just because it's too disruptive. There's too much danger releasing it all at once, and that
Yeah.
100% it will all come out with time. And yes, it's all in my dead man switch. So, keep Bernie alive. So, not everyone can dope uranium overnight, sort of thing, in their backyard. But it's that it will come
Right.
out. It will
It's
come
gonna
out.
happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah, but that's, what's really interesting is the control over our technology. And if you and I say this, you go back millennia, okay, to the ancient cultures, Sumeria, and where did they get their technology? From the gods. Where did these people get their technology? From the gods. We got our writing from Thoth. We got our writing from the gods. Like all of these different things came from gods, including weapons and armor and tactics and different things. You look at Solomon's work and how he called out these demons and did all this stuff. It's really I mean,
Right. And like as an
it,
alchemist myself, the alchemy creation story being Thoth, and it's like, oh, that's a bird
right.
headed deity, the same that we see in all the depictions, but they're
Yes,
just a different
yes.
name.
Carrying the same staff as Baphomet. And we know Thoth changed bodies all the time. So is there a relation there? I don't know. Baphomet and wisdom and Sophia, there's a close knit relation there as well, I think. But it's interesting to see them sporting that same caduceus staff time and time again.
Oh, it really is. And also
Yeah.
the same the handbag, right? The handbag, the wristwatch looking thing, all three of
Yep.
them,
Yep.
which you're getting artifacts of.
Yeah. Pine cones,
Do you maybe want to show a couple of
Anks.
those off right now if you don't mind? So
Yeah, I
if
got
they're available.
trying to think if I have any pine cones in here. Hmm, maybe. I gotta look. I think there's one inside of this vase. No. Hmm. Yeah, I put a lot of those. Oh, I got an Ankh at least.
Ooh, we do like the
Oops.
Ankh.
Oh, it turned all the way around. Honey, my bad. Okay. The tracking's kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie, but
It's got its ups, it's got its downs. Ooh, look at
yeah.
that Ankh. Question. Does
Hmm.
that one also kind of like ring like a metallic like a bell almost or not? Oh yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, this not as much as others, but it definitely has that sound in there.
And also that you're holding
That's a
it too would
female, I
muffle
think,
it.
there, maybe,
Yeah, that looks female for
which is
sure.
interesting, especially with the eye above the head.
Yeah.
Could be a Hathor thing potentially. Yeah, there's a lot of these spheres too. Like this is it's
Oh, wow.
type of
That's almost,
marble.
and it's almost looking similar to the Inga stones, right? Ish.
Yeah, I mean, kind
And
of how it's carved into there.
Buga Spearish. It's kind of like a cross
Yeah.
between the two. Fascinating. So, oh wow. See, that looks like astrological alignments there that they're
Hmm.
marking out. Like that looks like an actual code,
Yeah. And then the Vadra, which we do
right?
find.
Yeah, that is a Vajra. And is that showing them coming from Saturn?
Yeah.
Oh, oh, that's an uncomfortable truth potentially.
Right. I mean, he did create the archons in the
Ailment,
Gnostic texts, so it would make sense if that's the demiurge that and the chip design is the framework that the demiurge created. So what enslaves most of the humans today, and that's the computer chip. I spend 12 hours a day on my phone. It's how I make a living. It governs how much I can spend. It's doing all the things that they warned us against in some respects. There's definitely a heightened awareness to see this chip design being worshipped in this fashion to where it could be the mark of the beast. And why I say that is it's on the forehead of hundreds of skulls. And it's also found brandished on other parts, arms, and things like that of statues. Um, yeah, definitely Saturn energy for sure. And also, you see the bells, the cowbells, and the cow references. So the Venus, also the star, is everywhere.
interesting. And
If
that's
I
like
can
Vedic
hone in
Hindu
on
as
there,
well,
there we go. Yeah, a lot of it crosses everything. You know,
oh, we
like there's
got
literally every
the
culture.
gramophone.
We find the Kundalini. We find the Caduceus, obviously, the all-seeing eye.
With the horns on it too.
Yeah.
Kind of goes with your shirt, but
Yeah, right. Pandas and stuff.
oh, I see panda. See, I was thinking dairy farm. There we go.
And this has the
Wow.
Metatron's cube.
Right? And a straight up Zergorat. Fascinating.
Tree of life, Kybalion. So there's
Pro-
real hermetic connections, Masonic all these things seem to be converging now of why there was so much disagreement and why we have the different orders of the Masons and because there's a huge division kind of that occurred with the what is it the Shriners and the Masons at some point or something like that.
Right? And the Templar, and then there's like the York Right and the ancient Scottish, or the ancient Scottish Right and the York Left, I believe is how it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So it's definitely it shows us maybe some of the stuff that was hey, let me read that before it goes away. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I mean the relation to gold. So in Tula we don't find barely any gold at all. But in um like Abuelos there's a lot more. And I think the Anunnaki control may have been more significant in Tula, or it seems like there's and the fact that we don't find any gold at all, and just tons of bronze,
They were harvesting it still.
that I think is probable.
And
Yeah.
and those ones are older on average, aren't they? Like, are the other ones newer from the other site with the gold?
No,
Nope,
no,
nope.
we got so well, and that depends. So if the polymer dates are correct, which we tested the Awelos polymer, which is a completely different substance, and it dated at the same as the Tula polymer, but then we dated the glue on the same piece, which came back at like 8 or 9 thousand years. So um,
That's
y-
fascinating because that's like it was created pre-cataclysm, and then like survivors found it and like tried to put it back together, sort of thing, or something, and
it
then lost
could
again.
be so the hardest thing to accept on this would be um, that they had a way of making super glue back then. Now, I'm not saying the same exact recipe that we have specifically, but I'm saying in order to create a similar cyano reaction or whatever, I'm not an expert on polymers, so excuse me for just taking what I've read and trying to digest it to you guys, but if they were capable of making a glue, now this glue, when you look at it, it's red and orange and it looks like stone. It doesn't look like any super glue I've ever seen. There's no clearness to it or anything like that. However, when you take that super glue and test it, you'll find that you'll get old dates, like 8 or 9 thousand years old. So it's a potential that the glue isn't a very good um, way to mark the age of this, in terms of how it was made. Like there could be something that's throwing off or contaminating the dates of that glue. Now there's pipe resin from the same site that was 12,800 years, and there's also many other tests that are 18,000, 12,000, 15,000. So it's really hard to say. The remains that I found in Tula were 20,000. So that span from 20 to 45,000 definitely seems like an active population in that area.
And that kind of would correspond with the ancient Sumerian kings list age too, right?
It definitely goes back, and if that was happening and there was different kings ruling different experiments, and the Anunnaki had these slave species that they used to harvest their gold and things, and they were running these colonies at that time, and that's what started Babylon and eventually came to the fall of Babylon. um, Yeah, I mean that would make sense to me. If that all happened before humans existed, that would make a lot more sense on the timelines, because they have these pyramids being built in Mexico at like the dates are so ridiculous. It's hard, I can't even fathom building a pyramid 12 or 1800 years ago or whatever they have it as. I mean, it's an AD date.
Right? Like, oh, I know. That's like just so
What?
ridiculous. Like, I,
And
yeah.
so again, we a lot of people are speculative on carbon dating and say that that's not right, and a lot of people say it is. And I think it all depends on what you're testing, and some of it might be the luck of the draw. So you really have to have hundreds and hundreds of tests to get a true articulation or a true mean of your date range.
And
Now
also,
the
it
pipe
just,
the pipe resin, the remains, those I think probably have a higher probability of being accurate.
I would agree on that. Like, how do you fake that? Like, it just,
Yeah.
and
12 to 20,000 years. And then, the polymers might be testing consistency 40 to 45 because they have dead carbon from the limestone that they crushed up, or something in there that's throwing it off, whether it be seashells or who knows what's actually in the material itself. We know that a lot of the things that are in there, but they just come up as basic elements in our tests. So like calcium and things like that, aluminum.
interesting. That Right? And it's that it could either be that it is just a vast timeline that they were there for, like a full 24,000 or 30,000 cycle time of inhabitants, and then just additional stuff getting in after the cataclysm and trying to like rebuild and trying to, but never having that original technology level of making new pieces and new spots, and just
Right.
inhabited for a very, very long, long time. That not everything was hunter gatherer for back then, right?
There's no way they went from hunter gatherer to pyramids to us, like in our evolution. Like there was a huge change. Like there's the old kingdom and the new kingdom in Egypt. Clearly something happened there that changed everything. And I think I know what that is, and that's Jesus coming and saving us from the Ishtar. It's why we have Easter.
Right? And Christmas, his birth just happened, rebirth of
No,
it.
it didn't. It
It's
didn't.
right. I know. I don't want to get
No,
too.
it's
I'll let
messed
you
up,
cover that.
man. Yeah, I don't celebrate Christmas because you've got a holiday that was adopted. It used to be illegal, first of all, so it was illegal until they needed marketing and things like that to really bring them back in America even. And the holiday itself, giving and whatnot is great. Unconditional giving like Christ taught. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I'm not saying not to go and do that,
Right,
but
but the
to
lying to your
expect from other
children
people.
about Santa, that one kills me right there
Oh
alone.
man. Yeah, especially when you say that he knows when you're awake and he knows when you're sleeping. I mean, these are all things like that a God should possess. So when you're relating a God that's giving you gifts at this godlike level and everybody's playing along with it, um that's super satanic because you're using God's name in vain to get false praise. And it's Saturnalia. It's a Roman holiday. The equinox to the 25th is Saturnalia. And that was a gift giving, overindulging holiday of the Romans, for Saturn. And
Oh, see
when you look
that's
at what a
wild.
Holocaust definition is in the dictionary, you see that it's a burnt offering. And when you look into what the burnt offering is in a Holocaust, it is a burnt offering to Saturn specifically in most cases. So to see that occur in the fashion that it did, this Saturn thing really pops up really heavily. So yeah, I don't celebrate Christmas because I think that might be corruption from within, um, to
Decadence of
oppose
the
the
old
God.
guard to in God's name, right? Just like the holy wars, right? By definition, like you cannot be killing other humankind in God's name. Like that is a satanic act right there. And you know,
10,000%. And then they call him Alexander the Great. And yeah, it's pretty scary to think that it was that dark, and that's but for whatever reason, we're here to overcome it, and we're not supposed to judge. So I just try to do what I feel is right, and we'll keep doing that.
exactly. That's all we can do. And try to be as honest as we can and just show what you find and what's coming out of the ground and then the tests that are being done. And it's next level work.
Just get it documented. That's why we're doing this 3D. I don't know if you heard me, but we're doing a 3D VR museum. It's going to be in the Apple Vision and the Meta Quest, and you'll be able to go sit at the dig sites and see all this stuff unfold right in front of you in VR, 3D, immersive footage. I don't know if you've ever experienced that yet, but it's something that I just tried for the first time in the last couple months, and it took me so much by surprise of how good it was that I just immediately had to go out and get the equipment so I could shoot in that. So there's YouTube VR, and I'm going to start to produce videos for that. So if you have that, check it out. And anyone can check it out actually, but you just have to use the mouse or your finger to look around in the VR space if you don't have you know, goggles and stuff.
I look forward to it and can't wait to that. I brought up your website here to show.
Everything's going to be redacted, Trevor. All of it.
Oh, always. Hopefully not. But
He's
hey,
talking about
apparently,
Epstein and us and shit here.
well, so on the Epstein, so here's hilarious. If you didn't know, shout out Asmon Gold showed this, that they the instead of using the redacted feature in Adobe, they just put the blackout, so you can actually go in and get like 2/3 of the redacted information off the newly released Epstein files unredacted if you have the
Uh,
pro version of Adobe. And wow, is there crazy stuff in there? It's just like, oh,
yeah.
ugh, it's
Yeah.
gross.
There's a reason it's a war in Congress and why some of the stuff's just not being released, even though they're legally mandated to.
Right? Yeah, it's all legally supposed mandated. It's supposed to all be put out now. And oh, just yesterday they found another million files.
Million. Yeah. I thank God for AI in that case, because you can at least try to compound something. That's like too much for one person to even go through, you know?
Right? Like, no, thank you. I'm already traumed over the story. I don't need to go through a million files on it.
I'm still going through Hillary's emails, bro. Like, I won't lie. Like, I'm still trying to get through that, you know?
Oh, I'm
No.
still traumed from Hunter's laptop. Those were the worst.
Did you see
I
this
don't.
Sean Ryan interview where he's like, there was never any laptop? I like Sean a lot, but I don't know if I really buy into that story with Hunter on there. I don't know, but
Like,
whatever.
what do they have on you, Sean? What do they have on you?
Yeah, I know. I know. That's scary. I like that guy, but very well
Me
could. You
too.
know, there was a couple times where he expressed extreme concern for sure.
Oh, question. Do we have a total count on all the artifacts? Got to be in the tens of thousands that have come out.
Yeah, it's
Or
closer to.
more.
I mean, I would say probably 25,000 pieces have been unearthed. Yeah.
Right? It's
That's
just, it's
it's
wild.
hard to say. You know I've documented like 12 to 15,000 of these things. But I'm just one guy and I haven't been in this as long as some of these people. So I see new objects every day from people. They're like, "Oh yeah, I've got a collection of those." You know, there's people coming out like Emery Smith came out here a few weeks ago. You know, he's a pretty prominent host at Gaia, saying that he's known about this for a decade, and people ask him about it all the time. So I could only imagine, like the ancient alien people, there's a reason they have an NDA to not talk about this. I bet so many people ask him about this.
Yeah. And it's right. Good point. Again, like corrupt Gaia, and that like, oh, he's had artifacts himself on this for how many years, and like had to like make up stories instead of showing real artifacts. Like, what?
Yeah, it's deep though. It's deep. Like the corruption's from within, so it's really you
Yeah.
know, people scared for their lives in some of these cases. You have to give some understanding, even though it's really a hard thing. I mean, that was my first question, is like, well, why didn't you tell anybody? You know, like, I guess not everybody's in that position to feel comfortable to do so. I didn't believe it myself, so I didn't really feel comfortable being in that position. I just kind of got shoved into it, and now I'm just, I don't know, you know,
Right. So up here
just
I've
caught in the middle,
got
man.
these are electron microscope images, correct, of the
Yeah. So
phosphorescent bond.
that right there, those white pigments are actually the glow in the dark material. You can see all those lines are the carving lines, and then that's how the material is bonded to the stone. And when you look at that through on the other colors there, you can see the elemental displacement of the how it's put together, but also that it's bonded on to this material itself.
Right? It's
And that's
chemically bonded. It's not just like
bingo,
painted on. Yeah, it's
bingo.
uh,
So that's not something that we can really replicate today either.
right. Like it's there's so much to it. It blows my mind every time.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. It's definitely taken me and but honestly, I feel pretty good closure at this point. I don't feel a need to go too much further with it. I feel that I don't want to over welcome my stay. I've definitely said what I feel, and I've said what I needed to say. And I think a lot of other really credible people are going to be able to hopefully get to a concrete science with this. But I think no matter how many tests I do and how far I go, it'll never be accepted properly without the right people doing the right job, you know.
Well, the right team, and because you are the right
Well,
people,
yeah.
and we are the right peoples in it, and it's that you from your initial work now so many more are taking up the torch and starting to look at it in academia and in higher places, and like you said, finally
Yeah.
a actual scientific paper or journal published on it.
Hearing the anthropologist talk to
Or
me, it made me just like really, really thankful, because she's absolutely on point with this, and it is on track to get it figured out at all costs. So it's really great to see. And they're out of Italy, you know, and Italy is also famous for Egyptian research all of a sudden as well. So it's quite interesting to see this blow up out of Italy in both Mexico and Egypt simultaneously. And I don't think that's an accident. I don't have any connection, or I can't draw any direct you know, but there seems to be in my heart something there, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it's probably not a coincidence.
Oh, I definitely don't believe in coincidence myself, and no coincidence in the fact that there's ancient like alchemy symbols on these, one of the most ancient languages out there. And then you got proto cuneiform, you got proto Egyptian, and then you have these like alien pictographic.
Do you know alchemy is not even real by definition in the scientific world? It's a pseudoscience.
Right? Oh God,
I was
don't
really
bring up
shocked. I'm
that
like,
horror story to Bernard the
I
Alchemist. My
I know, bro. That's why I did, because I was totally shocked. I mean, people obviously have never seen concrete or resin or any of this stuff, but
or drank
yeah,
alcohol or had
I know,
like
I know.
it's like alchemy is literally accredited with like starting chemistry, biology, medicine, alcohol, like so
Yeah,
many different things. It's like, but it wasn't real. No, no,
I
it wasn't.
know.
It's a
And that
pseudoscience.
comes back to this truth of Thoth and the whole entire thing. I think that we see here, it's all to try to steer away from it at all costs.
Exactly, and it's like that's why I feel that you and me have this bond and this destiny with it. Is like I'm one decoding ancient alchemy and reproducing it in the lab, finding Sir Isaac Newton's alchemy processes, reproducing those in the lab, and showing its advanced nuclear electrochemistry, and that oh well he had to Isaac Newton had to have electricity to be doing these things, and that
There.
he was just reproducing more ancient things in his own words. It just it's all alchemy. And shout
Yep.
out Benjamin Balderson, Odin's Alchemy, another alchemist in the chat watching.
Hmm. Okay. Oh no, that makes a lot of sense why they would consider it that. Okay. I like that. Yeah, I can respect that. I didn't take it that way when I saw it. I was just like, what the heck? It was on like Jeopardy or something, you know.
So this image you got like what are these like original alien glyph language that
Yeah,
it
this is all
has
from Abuelos.
and it's like that essentially is like proto alchemy script in many ways, and that those
Yeah.
have those that language has and those symbols have been from the very beginning, from the first time I ever saw the artifacts from Nassim Haramein and Klaus Donna doing a
Hmm.
presentation 2011 or something on it, and then that when I showed you the drawings that were released by Michael Schratt of the original 47 or whenever the Roswell crash was, and the exact same alien glyphs depicted
Yes.
in those. It's
Yep.
just, it's wild.
And that's not a very common picture. It took a lot to even find where that was from. And um yeah, that ship though has the exact same. I think there was two symbols actually on it that
These symbols,
matched
yeah.
these pieces. Yeah.
It's just, it's like
Yeah,
how
show that research
many,
paper there.
uh, this one or
You gotta hit the.
down or up?
No,
Sorry,
that's the tridactyl. Go to
that
the
one.
research up there at the top. Nope. Up where it says
Oh,
research
oh,
section up at the very top.
oh, research
Left.
section. There we
There
go.
you go. And then research papers. Yep.
Oh, see, your site just keeps growing. There's more and more. Download the
Yeah. Hopefully,
PDF.
we'll have a few of these here. But this is the research paper I was mentioning earlier that's been submitted to the scientific journal. And
Amazing. And this needs
yeah,
to
and
happen.
this is like a pretty broad paper, which is amazing that they accepted this and published it, um, because I think it really opens up the conversation. I know of other papers that are being written on, the type of material, the geopolymer or whatever you want to consider it. And then I imagine with all the research that that team in Italy has done, that they probably have some sort of paper that they're going to format as well. I don't know that for sure, but with the amount of testing that they have, they definitely could. So, um,
I sure hope they do.
yeah, if we see a triplicate of published papers in a year, I think that's going to be a good sign that we need to double check at least.
Right? And like that there's so much evidence for it now.
Yeah,
It's just ignorant to deny, like, at least looking into the evidence and questioning
it's
the
showing here some of the paperwork for the INAH, which is the Institute of National Archaeology and Anthropology down there in Mexico, and they released a letter back in 2014 to Dr. Pablo Garcia Sanchez when he queried about this stuff and the civilization. And he, I believe, included a few pictures of the items. And the response essentially said that they don't have any record of anything like that, and that they don't believe that there's any evidence to suggest that this type of civilization survived in these areas prior. So that's why these items are sold on the black market and why people see them at the tourist spots and on eBay, because they're absolutely being sold to the highest bidder right now illegally without breach of treaty. They're able to be crossed through customs with no problem. And that's the problem. So they're literally being passed off as fakes, but they're not in a lot of cases. I mean, there's fakes out there. Don't get me wrong. We've done entire videos and documentaries on pieces that we found and operations that we found that are literally trying to produce fakes, just like you would find with the Rolex and Louis Vuittons. We have admission in our book Anunnaki America that states that the cartels are actually being paid by UNESCO to create fakes to water down the market so that they sell, a couple originals with a few fakes, and that way, the people
discredit
who are
it.
buying them don't know. And I've come across this with a lot of different sellers. I've worked with probably 50 different people down there now, and there's a whole, some of them are really genuine and want to get to the truth, and then there's a gatekeep that is beyond. And some of these people, that they'll get you because their price is so good or whatnot, but when you try to get any sort of proof, it just doesn't exist.
Yeah,
And a lot of the
and
pieces aren't real because of that, but some of them are, and I've proven that with that book that we tested. I believe that book is genuine.
And not to
But
mention also just like from the ones you've shown that were like clearly fake, they're not the quality is completely different. Just like when you buy a knockoff Rolex, it's
oh
like, oh,
yeah.
you can tell this is not gold. You can tell this is like some crappy knockoff. It's just it's
Yeah,
beyond
Ben
evident.
Bridge, my date is not justing. Yeah,
Exactly.
no,
Four
it's
toes
real.
or three, four
Yeah, I think one maybe broke off.
broke off, but not
What's
five.
cool about what's cool about this team here that wrote this paper is they went to Jalisco, Mexico, and they went and dug these pieces up on their own. As far as March down in Mexico City, Astrolab, there's a huge event down there at the I can't think of the name of the venue. It's a Spanish name, but it's like the Auditorium de Nacional or something like that. But Jaime Maussan is throwing it. It's a bogosphere symposium. I believe he's going to be showing some of the research that they've done and maybe spinning it right there in front of everybody to show how it loses weight and
Ooh,
how there's heat that generates and all kinds of different things when you sing to it. It has crazy spikes of energy that come out. It's not to say that it's listening, but there could be some sort of frequency
acoustic interaction
effect.
with it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fascinating. I can't wait to be your camera guy.
right. And it'll be live on pay-per-view, probably. No, I'm just.
Well, I'm sure
I don't know.
Jaime will
I'm
be
sure they're
calling it.
gonna broadcast it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll be the camera guy filming your edits for later, right? Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, and these are some tests here, that are they're thermoluminescent tests, meaning they drill into the core because these things are like pottery or made in that sense, they can be tested thermoluminescently. Some of the materials are fired, and some of them aren't. Abuelos has a lot of different materials. They were true masters, making all these mosaic and different pieces. The level of art, I mean, the sculpting in Tula is second to none, but the level of art in Abuelos, just some really
Oh, it is.
ridiculous things.
Like each piece is just so unique and beautiful and encoded with so much information. It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
There's a
You can
couple
see it's
just
just one date after another that coincides. And these aren't even carbon dates, they're thermoluminescent, which I think it can have contamination and issues as well, but consistently it's being fairly
and these ones
consistent.
at least thousands, and they're like the least advanced ones we're seeing.
Well, and I was just going to bring that up because it's really important to look at Mesoamerican history and go back to the ancient megalithic sites with these massive 45 cut side stones. And then as it gets newer, that's when ceramic and the pottery and stuff came. It didn't come till later. And so their quality of stone essentially eroded down consistently until we get to this. So these newer ages of the same story brings a lot of credibility that this went on until the Spanish came. And this is what the Spanish came to get rid of. This is the pagan beliefs, the Saturn beliefs that were in this area that they were trying to dispose of.
Right, and that it's documented everywhere throughout Mesoamerica that that's
Yeah.
exactly what they were doing, to the
Yep.
point that the Aztecs didn't even have a written or sorry, not the Aztecs, the Inca didn't even have written language, and they didn't have any history and whatnot. And it's like, oh wait,
I
no,
know.
they definitely did. We just burnt it all and destroyed it,
Burned it.
or
Bingo.
we didn't. The Jesuits, conquistadors.
Yeah. Conquistadors, which were backed by the Vatican financially.
Exactly.
So
Well, led by
it was
Jesuits, right? There was the
right.
Jesuit priest leading every expedition, blessing it, right?
Yep.
Building their
Mhm.
cathedrals on top of the
That's the
sacred
thing. They
site.
went after those sites because those sites have power still. And that's where you can do the most powerful witchcraft and summon the demons and stuff, probably is on those sites. It's probably why Solomon's temple was so important and why it still is fought over today.
No doubt
There's
about
got
it.
to be something with these sites. I mean, there's something. I can't wait to try. I've never been to any of these sites, so I look forward to experiencing it. I'm such a slacker for never even going to Mexico yet. I mean,
Well, you have your
I kind of
reasons.
feel like, oh yeah, no, I wanted to be a couch archaeologist. I wanted to disprove this on my COVID, pandemic. I can't really do anything era, and then it turned into this.
It turned into a 5, 6 year adventure now of we're going to Mexico City. All
Yeah.
right.
Yep. It's going down. No, I'm
I love
stoked. I'm really glad that Jaime is on board to get the truth out there and to do the research because someone needed to stand up And I don't think very many people are in the position to actually do that, especially down there. So he has the resources, which is the hardest part to get. And um, but what's
Absolutely.
interesting too is, do you know Gaia bought Masan Television?
I had heard that. I wasn't sure if it was true or not.
Yeah, yeah, which I thought was pretty interesting. Um, that they were going to come forward with all this stuff, but yeah, I don't
And
know.
all of a
Maybe
sudden,
the new CEO there or something I heard was changing the game, and maybe this is part of that. So maybe they're
well,
on the right
um,
page now or something. I don't know.
I have heard that Gaia TV or Gaia is mostly owned by BlackRock. So there's that aspect, right?
It's not mostly. I think I saw a post from Johnny Enoch claiming that they owned a pretty healthy percentage. However, when I
That was
did
my
look it up, it was smaller than, but it was absolutely true. You're totally right, and so was he. I mean, they have a stake in that company, um, but they have a stake in a lot of companies. So
right.
yeah, I
And
can't really say that it's to cover up information, but they might have some sort of insider in there to help, guide the traffic their direction. Who knows?
right, it wouldn't surprise whatsoever. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got like 15, 20 minutes left here. We should probably let you maybe show some more artifacts off
Yeah.
if you want, and your book, and tell us what else is coming in 2026.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any new books coming next year. I'm going to be focused so hard on this immersive experience because I think that's kind of the next level of, you know, I've got 7 books out there. Definitely might do another, but this one we documented a lot of the science and the dates and stuff like you'll find in the paper. This was the residue that we dated at the bottom of the jar, the remains that were in there. You can see the date here. It's got a star map on the bottom. We find a lot of these. A lot of people, they say when we're showing videos and things that the ground is too soft. Oh, that's been put there. Well, this here is a 2017 dig that the INAH did in Tula on my friend's property. They were tilling their field and they found burial. So the INA came in and did a real dig to excavate it. And as you can see, the soft, same dirt everywhere for them too, which I think is really critical to understand that.
Yes, that is a crucial point you're showing.
Yeah. And two, there's a lot of, the landscape, like this is them just out in front of Zikuku Mountain. And that mountain on the other, well, you can see it on that one there, but um, that mountain is the Hill of the Owl, which the owl is really significant to Ishtar and Inanna, and also to the Watchers. And so a lot of these pieces are found there. This was an expedition that we helped make happen, and they were in the Zikuku Mountains. You can see the bell there. It's a bell. There's like a smaller
Wow,
little bell inside of it. Yeah.
that's fascinating.
Oh, there it was. That's what I was trying to show on the forehead of this skull here. Oh, this was also something cool too. I'll share. This is my good friend Caleb, and he went down just to confirm some stuff and see this stuff for his own eyes. He actually got to dig out a piece. He found this skull here on his own accord, and on it shows the feathered serpent, and it's really it's cool to see because it shows it in a dragon form as well, and then also in the human form, and the human form is the Anunnaki birdman that we see, you know quite often.
Wild. The
Yeah, so that could be
potential
the feathered serpent
oh,
in Mesopotamia, and that would be what that is. This is a large ground floor. These weigh about 450 pounds a piece, and this was found at the base of this large, almost looks like a Stargate. You can see I'm working on it there.
Just
But
next
yeah,
level.
check it out, guys. This is definitely a piece of history you're not going to find on the History Channel. So
Like
not yet,
ancient
anyways.
aliens won't even cover it for X sakes.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting with those guys, I tried so hard to work with them and thinking that they were, the ones, right? I mean, they obviously pride their life to this topic. I grow cannabis, like, let's get it to them. This is their
Right?
business. And they treated me so poorly. They ghosted me and told me I was stupid. Andrew Collins and some of these people came out on my social media, Giorgio Tsoukalos, saying it's all fake. We know for 100%, and they provide zero evidence. And so, Travis Taylor is a PhD who works with those guys, and he was on Skinwalker Ranch for years as their PhD, and then all of a sudden it was vetted that he was part of the government. So he had been working for Skinwalker as part of the government at the same time, moonlighting or whatever you want to call it. Um, when Brandon said that on
Right?
the Sean Ryan show, what was that?
Straight moonlighting, like just another
Yeah.
spook. Just another
So
spook.
I think this might be the demiurge, but I'll continue that story. So yeah, the fact that he is part of this ATIP or this government program, meaning he's been written in, it wouldn't surprise me if that show was, to help with disclosure. Coming out all at once with this topic, I think could be destructive. So there's a lot of religious and spiritual things attached to it, and a lot of demonic things that people might not be ready to accept as real, or potentially that happened in the past. Maybe it's not as real today or something because it's different, but
It's one of those parts that
it's
just gives the
disclosure, right?
it gives the heebie-jeebies because it's real no matter how much you don't want the demon parts to be real. It's just part of the fabric of our duality of good and bad and the third dimension of our free will, and that you have to be aware of it and you have to choose not to engage it and feed it.
Right. Yep. Yep. And that's I mean, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, right?
Exactly.
I
Whatever's gonna
don't know.
be is
Some of
gonna
these
be.
some of these age-old sayings, man, it makes me smile. The truth shall set you free. Like, I'd always ask my parents or my teachers, like, well, what truth is this? You know, and I think this could be that truth about the control of the demiurge. Like I was pointing to that lion over there, the Sophia created this demiurge and he had a lion faced. Um, and I think that's this, he's serpent body with the wings and the lion face. That could very well be our demiurge.
Oh, that's a
I couldn't
fascinating
I couldn't come
one.
up with anything else. And then so if you keep spinning this, it's got the feathered serpent there
He
with
sure
a
does.
sphere, bogosphere maybe, or a pokeball. It looks like. I mean,
Right?
typical OOPART, right?
Typical Upart. Just a mashup of proto everything.
Yeah. So that's that's that. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that whole piece. It's really interesting to see those type of depictions. We do see a lion-faced serpent that's kind of like we see Anubis in the serpent form as well. Like on, I can show you right here. You can see him coming out of there as a serpent, and so that Naga body
Oh,
is what I'm going to call
yeah.
that demiurge over there. I believe there's depictions in Egypt that show this type of body with Anubis, with the Naga body like that in Alexandria. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it's
it's kind of.
it's
a
really
connection, you know?
fascinating with that sort of body too, like that they're coming out. It's almost as if they're like spirit style or ghost
No,
or something
they're
like
jinn.
yin,
That's how
right?
that's
Like
how
it
Solomon put them
did,
in bronze vessels and stuff. They were jinn.
right? Like don't rub those bronze pieces with too much cloth, Mike.
Yeah.
uh,
No, it's scary. I mean, there's and I say that like I feel pretty spiritually strong. But I don't go around playing
right.
with the Ouija boards either. And that's exactly what we find is straight up Ouija boards, you know.
Right? Like it's so freaking wild, and it's that I myself too have found like spiritually stronger, uplifted from dealing with these and accepting these truths and like learning the powers of like the Solomon sigils and alchemy and the
Yes.
angels and demons. But it's like the last thing I ever do or intend to do is to actually try to summon these entities, and then I go around at all costs trying to avoid doing such, but just learning the reality and the ways of the structure of this like existence, I guess, really.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, it's definitely something to overcome and to understand. Like, you can see here on this skull, these angels are literally interacting with these UFOs, like they're doing stuff. And then you go up to the top of it here, and you've got this holy light or Ein Sof light depiction coming down over the pyramid and then going in
Into the third eye,
to the third eye. Yeah,
pineal
which
gland
is,
right there.
I guess I turned around. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's that's amazing,
Little guy coming out of a portal.
right?
I mean, I don't know.
Like, what? Most likely carved skulls or carved and geopolymer, depending the
Yeah, they're
material.
sculpted. Sculpted. I
Sculpted.
wouldn't call very. I mean,
Sculpted.
I would say some of the crystal skulls and things like that are obviously carved. But yeah, a lot of it seems to be sculpted because it's done while it was still wet
It
or
was
still
they were
drying, I
formed.
guess.
They were formed
Formed.
one way,
Yeah.
made.
Let me see if this will pick back up. Maybe. Oh, it's almost dead. Okay, I'll hold it. I was gonna play this whistle for you guys real quick.
Ooh, that's a good way to finish.
Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to hear. I'll take my headphones. That's fine.
Oh, right, because the echo cancellation and noise cancellation sometimes it cuts out.
It's brutal. Yeah.
That's what we got. That your 4D coming through virtual reality next.
And I got a four-way 3D mic so I can do spatial sound for
Oh
the
wow.
experience. So when you're at the dig site, you're going to literally hear, Jose over here digging and, Pato over here digging and it's going to be, I mean, the experience is really surreal. Technology's really come pretty far. I was pretty skeptical on these VR headsets. I didn't really subscribe. The first one I put on made me feel like I was going to be sick, and now I'm a regular.
Now you're all in.
Pretty cool for a skull.
Right, and it's like, it's such authentic flute sounds of the Andes, and it's like
Yeah,
it's just yeah, and so many of them, and like how is that made? Like it just
I'm
it,
gonna ting this here.
oh yeah,
Right. I knew
like
you couldn't hear it earlier. So.
that sounded like tapping a fork on a glass, pretty much like metal
Yeah,
on crystal.
yeah. Not limestone.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Well, any last words here before we let you go?
I don't think so. No. Have a great end of the year. Oh, and I'm going to be releasing an end of the year video. I've been working literally really, really tough on it. It'll probably come out like on the 30th or 31st because I still have some stuff to do. It's like 60 minutes long, so it takes me a long time to go like do it all. I'm not just narrating it. I'm actually like properly putting in cutscenes and stuff. So
right, like
taking a step. 2026 is going to be a big year for cinematics around here. So
I look forward to it. I love it. I look forward to being a part of it. And thank you, Mike, for all that you do. And thank you. This is episode number 33 together. We just finished today, I believe. So
that's a good number, man.
right?
Yeah.
It really is. God bless you, Mike. God bless the audience on all channels, and wishing everyone a successful 2026. And make sure you subscribe to Mike over on his channel. He already got to 10,000, you lucky guy. And if you're over on Mike's channel, feel free to come help me reach 10,000 too. But either way, love you all. God bless. We'll see you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
You crazy mother. Yeah.
It's just BurnEye.
Hey, BurnEye, just like last week, huh?
Weekend at Bernie's.